What if the biggest breakthrough in your health wasn't another supplement, a lab test, or a protocol, as much as I love those, but the moment you decided you're no longer waiting for permission to live your own life? Welcome to the Balanced Hormone Solution podcast. If you are a woman 35 plus, you feel exhausted, inflamed, and wondering where your spark went, then this show is for you. Welcome to the Balanced Hormone Solution podcast. If you're a woman 35 plus, feeling exhausted, struggling to lose weight, and wondering where your libido went, this is for you. I am Tracy Erin, a functional medicine practitioner who helps women balance their hormones naturally without prescriptions, guesswork, or trendy nonsense. Because here's the truth. Your symptoms aren't random. They're signals. And if you know how to listen, you can fix the root cause and start feeling like yourself again. If you're ready for real solutions, let's get to it. I am your host, Tracy Erin, a functional medicine women's hormone health specialist, and I help women balance their hormones naturally and get their energy, confidence, and vitality back without prescriptions, guesswork, or feeling like they're losing themselves in the process. So today's episode is a little bit different. We're not going to talk about cortisol curves or Dutch tests or blood sugar hacks. We're going to talk about you and the turning point that every woman faces somewhere in the midst of perimenopause and midlife. And it's this moment. It's the moment that you realize, I have spent so much of my life putting everyone else first, and yet I am the one who now is running on empty. So I kind of want to begin to open the lid of the conversation here. I think so many of us women are trained, maybe guilt-tripped into thinking that it's selfish, right? To think about your own needs, to think about yourself as a person. But what if we could flip this script? What if we could look at it like it's not selfish, it's sacred. And this very thing could be the most powerful hormonal reset that you will ever experience. There's no doubt that when we get to this point in life and we're looking around and we don't recognize ourselves anymore, our bodies have changed. We look different, we feel different. Our families are growing. Our children are getting older. Maybe kids are moving out of the house, and we're starting to look down the pipeline of what our life is going to look like 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. And it maybe remains to be a big old question mark. Our relationships have changed. We feel different. The things that we used to love and value are maybe not the same anymore. What is this season really about anyway? For me, I remember a time in my life where I started to feel this shift, and it was somewhere around age 40. 40 felt big for me. I mean, now I'm almost 7 years past that. Not quite yet. I've got 2 more weeks until my birthday, and I shouldn't rush it. But here I am at 46, and I'm looking back to my 40th birthday. That felt big. It, it's celebrated in movies. It's in books. It's sort of a thing to really make your 40th birthday something special. And I was blessed to have 2 of my college roommates join me on a trip to Cuba for my 40th birthday. And that was the first thing I did that really, truly felt just for me. I remember the guilt that came up at even thinking about that trip, let alone planning it, spending the money on the plane tickets, taking the time away from home. That was the first time that I ever flew away from my family for an extended period of time. And I think all in all, the trip was maybe 7 days, maybe 8 days. It wasn't even anything crazy. But for me, it was the first big step into this idea that I was an individual. Yes, I was a wife and a mom and a homeschool mom at that. Yes, I was there for every single moment of my children's and my family's lives. Yes, I cooked all the meals. Yes, I taught all the lessons. Yes, I drove them to all their practices. But this week, I was just me. And I remember taking long walks on the beaches of Cuba, being in awe that I was in a separate country so far away from my family. And yes, I missed them dearly. It wasn't that I was running away from them. It was more so that I was finding me outside of the identities of being a wife, outside of the identities of being a mom, a homeschool mom, one who gave everything for everyone else. And it was a turning point for me. It was a time for me to recognize, what do I like outside of preferring other people? How would I spend my day if I could literally write my perfect agenda from sunup to sundown? If I didn't have other people in my life to serve, how would I spend it? And I want you to hear me. I love having a family. In fact, there was many years where I wasn't sure if I could have a family. But along the way, God blessed children into my marriage, and I would never change it for anything in the whole wide world. Certainly not riches or time. I absolutely have loved being a mother. It's my most favorite thing in my entire life. But I do remember a point where I had to stop and think, who am I apart from this particular identity that I have thrown myself into? And that trip was a turning point for me. And it didn't happen overnight, but I noticed over the course of the next year, 2, 3, 4, now I'm looking back 6 years of my life, I have won back some of my individualism, some of my own personal identities, my own personal desires, my own personal ways, and haven't lost one little bit of being a wife and a mom along the way. So that was a critical moment for me, and it's something that I think is worth doing. Looking at our lives in a way to say, who really am I? And that's what I noticed about this time of life for us women, is that this whole season, this whole perimenopause and menopause season of life is a chance for us to look deep within us, and to recognize something really critical, which is, are we content with where we are in life? We've got stories, books, movies written about the midlife crisis for men, right? They get to a certain age where they look around and they realize, well, shoot, life is not really looking like I thought it would look. And we start to feel like we're staring down the other half of our life, right? This is that midlife point. But for women, we have a phase 2. And that phase looks like, uh-oh, am I all that I ever would be? Is this the end? Is this the close of a chapter that really made me who I was? Is there a future for me? Or is this truly the downhill slope? And me recognizing that, like, the parts of my life that I wasn't crazy about, the parts of my health that weren't where I wanted them to be, realizing that no one was coming to save me. And ultimately, it was my job to save and to choose me. And during this entire transition for me was when everything began to change. So there's a couple things that I just want to talk about here today. And that is, number one, perimenopause is not the problem. We like to look around and blame something. It's just perimenopause. It's just aging. It's just my hormones, right? But what if we looked at perimenopause not like the problem, but the portal? The portal for whatever is next for you. Because this season, it is not a punishment unless you want it to be. It's your body's invitation to change, to grow, to expand into this new version of you, whomever this new woman looks like. You're likely not having pregnancies anymore. Your body's not changing throughout childbirth, breastfeeding. That is behind you. And yes, you're still experiencing hormonal shifts, but your identity, your energy, your purpose, all of that is changing now too. And instead of fighting it, what if we embraced it as a signal that something new deep inside us is ready to be born? So instead of looking back like we've lost our youth, what if we're gaining wisdom and we're gaining truth and we're gaining a future that we can actually smile at, look forward to? Another thing I want to bring up here is that you cannot heal what you keep postponing. So we might tell ourselves, like, yeah, when things calm down, I'm going to take care of me. But guess what? Life is not calming down. It doesn't calm down. It just keeps coming. And if you've got things that your body's been whispering for years, things like fatigue and this weight that keeps creeping up on your body and brain fog you think will go away when you finally sleep through the night, those are not inconveniences. They're invitations to look deeper. And the longer you delay, the louder your body will have to speak to you until you start to listen. What if you could push pause, stop postponing, and start healing from the inside out? 2 more things. Putting yourself first isn't selfish. It's strategy. And this is a hill I am prepared to die on. And I say that because I thought it was selfish for most of my adult life. But you've heard this analogy before. The oxygen mask, right? You're on the airplane. They all tell you put on your oxygen mask first before you go to the child or the elderly next to you and help them. Why is that so critical? And that's because if you're the one gasping for air, you cannot help anyone else breathe. I want you to internalize, visualize this truth for you. Look around at all the people who depend on you, all the people who need you to be strong and healthy in order for them to be strong and healthy too. They depend on you. And when you're nourished, when you're emotionally and physically regulated, when your nervous system can relax, when you can get rested, everyone around you can benefit from that and does benefit from that. So in that sense, healing your hormones is not just numbers on a page. It's not just lab values. It's about reclaiming that leadership of your own life for you first and foremost. But then and only then can you help those around you. And the last one is you don't need permission from anybody else. You just need a plan. So this turning point that I'm talking about, it's not like reckless, abandoned change. It can be and ought to be intentional direction towards something new with purpose. So starting small, right? Just getting that morning sunlight, eating 3 solid meals a day, minimizing snacking, protein with breakfast, or saying no when you mean it and when you need to. Each of these aligned choices are helping to tell your body that you're safe now, that you are the priority. And when your body knows it doesn't need to just survive, it can begin to grow and heal. So you can stop surviving and start thriving today. Not someday in the future, not when all the kids grow up and leave the house, not when you finally have enough money or time, not when you stop having all these mouths depending on you. You will always have something else to give your attention to. So why not now? This week, I want you to grab a journal and just answer this one question. What would change in my life if I stopped waiting for permission and decided to live for me? I'm not asking you to throw out your family. I'm not asking you to throw out your responsibilities, your job, the things that you've committed to, because those That's your pathway to healing as well. But chances are there is something that has been quieted and suppressed and put on the back burner for a long time. And it's time to turn the spotlight on some of those things. What are those dreams deep inside you that need to flourish, that need to come out, that need a rebirth? Write down some of these things that you have put on hold, even if it's your health, something that brings you joy, a dream that you have. Choose one of those and start on it today and start small. Because the moment that you can start living for you, your hormones finally get that message that you are safe and they can balance now. So this whole season of life that we like to call perimenopause with erratic hormones, it's not the end of your story. It's the rewrite phase. This is where you can stop pressing pause, start living the life that you were made for, because you are going to make time for you. And I'm here to be this guide, to walk this path with you. You're not broken. You are not far too gone. You are hormonally and beautifully ready for what is next, and that is all by design. That's it for today's episode of the Balanced Hormone Solution podcast. If this resonated, don't just listen, do something about it. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you know another woman who's tired of feeling like a stranger in her own body, send her this way. For more support, check out the show notes. I've got resources to help you get started. Just remember, your body isn't broken. You just need the right tools. See you next time.